When trying to accomplish a goal, there's something that people don't always realize is present. Something that can mean the difference between failure and eventual success. And I'm not talking about practice, I'm not talking about motivation, and I'm not even talking about hard work. I am talking about expectations. Whether intentional or unintentional, expectations can be powerful. I could stand here all day and think of examples. Someone is trying to lose weight and they expected to lose 10 pounds, but they only lost 4. Do they give up on the hard work or keep striving towards their goal? Someone applies to a college they expect they will get into based on their grades and their test scores. They are rejected. Do they give up, defeated on their college dreams, or try elsewhere? You expect to be married by age 22, but it doesn't happen. Do you become crippled with fear that you will be single forever? Or continue to be your best self for when God brings you the right person? Shattered expectations can break you, especially when it comes to the things of God and following His will, which is what I'm going to focus on. You probably expected that. Haha. This might sound ridiculous to some people that expectations can have this much power, but try to think of a time in your life when something didn't go as you planned or you thought it would, and then you'll understand. When we want to follow God, we have to realize that means letting go of control, and that includes expectations. If not, expectations can be the death of your walk of faith. Proverbs 20:24. A man's steps are directed by the Lord. How then can anyone understand his own way? Right there. If we can't understand our own way, then how worthless are our expectations? So why abide by them? God directs our steps, usually one at a time, so we won't know what that next step is until it happens. So why form an expectation towards it? There are more proverbs that say pretty much the same thing. Proverbs 16:9. In his heart a man plans his course, but the Lord determines his steps. Again, God directs our steps beyond our understanding. Granted, for many it is hard not to form any sort of expectation, but then when or if they are not met, you have to be able to overlook it, even when things look totally different than you expected. Sometimes, things will even start to look bad. Badly bad. One of them. With almost any character in the Old Testament, and even the New, if you read their entire journey, things never go how they expect them to, even when they are following God's commands precisely. One story that I find super relatable and applicable to this topic is found early in the story of Moses. Moses is out shepherding when God appears to him in a burning bush. I'm sure many of you are familiar. Long story short, God tells Moses to go to Egypt and tell Pharaoh to let the Israelites free from slavery. Moses doesn't think he is worthy or capable of doing so. But God says he will be with him and performs a few miracles right there, and tells Moses that he can use those same miracles to convince the people. He even tells Moses it won't work the first time he goes to Pharaoh. Moses is still, essentially, scared. But he goes, meets up with his brother Aaron, and they talk to the Israelite elders first. He performs the miracles, and they believe Moses was sent by God, despite Moses' initial doubt. Ooh. Moses is probably experiencing his first real tangible amount of confidence here. Maybe this will work. Moses then goes before Pharaoh and lays down his requests. Pharaoh says no, without even much of a second thought. Yeah, it's a no for me. Pretty defeating, but God had told Moses this would probably happen. But then, something totally unexpected happens. In reaction to Moses' requests, Pharaoh makes the slave labor for the Israelites much harder than it was before. They know it is Moses' fault, and some of the Israelites come to him and blame him and are angry with him. So then, Moses' already wavering confidence is shattered. The very people who were on his side, and he's there to rescue, turned on him. Not how he thought it would go, I'm sure. You can tell based on what he says to God following this event. Exodus 5:22-23. Moses returned to the Lord and said, "O Lord, why have you brought trouble upon this people? Is this why you sent me? Ever since I went to Pharaoh to speak in your name, he has brought trouble upon this people, and you have not rescued your people at all. He is pretty much saying, what is going on? Things are getting worse. What are you doing? And who could humanly blame him? The story goes on, God gives Moses directions time and time again, and after several attempts, the Israelites are set free, just like God told Moses would happen. But the path to get there wasn't exactly what Moses thought it was going to be, and he reacted to the failed expectations instead of simply knowing that God would see it through regardless of the perceived circumstances. All this to say, you are not unique to doubt God when he doesn't meet your expectations. But that doesn't make you right. God's ways and thoughts are higher than ours. We have to put our trust fully in him and put none in our own expectations. These classic verses say it the best. Proverbs 3, 5, and 6. Trust in the Lord with all your heart and lean not on your own understanding. In all your ways acknowledge him and he will make your paths straight. Your path may not seem straight to you, but if you are seeking God with all your heart and not relying on your own understanding or expectations, he says it will be straight. So if you've been hesitant to trust fully in God because it is uncomfortable or something doesn't make sense, push those feelings aside and stay on the path of faith. You don't know what you could be missing, and there's no time to waste. Thank you for watching, and God bless.